Hey everybody, New Hampshire Hbbyloggr here. Now there's no doubt that New England has its fair share of cold weather, and today's no different than any other. We're getting the furnace, the wood furnace going here so we can get the shop heated up a little bit. I wanted to give you guys an update on the PeaStone filters that I put together a month ago. And I gotta say they're working very, very well, but there are some issues, and that is when the temperature gets real cold. If you don't drain them out, the moisture tends to freeze up in there. Now the whole purpose of the PeaStone was to collect the moisture that's produced when you're gasifying wood, and that's exactly what they're doing. I also have some drains on there that I'd installed and put on there, which I may not have gotten them in there early enough. So one of the problems I had a couple of days ago was I've been noticing that the flare, when I'm starting up and everything to check the gas and all that, the flare is pretty weak, and it hasn't been as robust as it normally would be. So that's been one of my concerns as to what's going on. And we had kind of a little bad spell. We had a pretty good puff back on the gasifier, and we had a couple little issues here. I'm glad the water hose was still hooked up and wasn't frozen. I'd taken some precautions beforehand, and I had blown the water out of the water hose, so that was all free and ready to go when we needed it, because I don't normally heat the shop. So things tend to freeze up in here, and that's exactly what happened with the gasifier. I'm pretty sure is that the gas flow got blocked with the ice that was forming in the bottom of it, and it built up in the can, and that's where we had that I don't want to call it, yeah, it was pretty impressive. So anyhow, I pulled them apart last night, and took the filters off, and noticed that the last 4 inches of the filters at the bottom weren't emptying out as it normally would. Most of the PeaStone was soaking wet, and it did drain right out all right into the drying bucket. And what I do is I have that metal can right there that's sitting inside of the air plenum, and that's filled up with the PeaStone right now, and I let that set overnight. And I've got a couple batches of it, so I can switch and keep the thing charged up if I need to, but those are drying in there, and in fact they're all set this morning. But what I found was the last 4 inches of the bottom of the filters were pretty stiff, a little bit hard to get out of there. I had to poke on it some, and it finally popped out. So I'm thinking that's what happened. So I'm going to put them back together, and I just wanted to give you guys a little update on cold weather operations for this particular gasifier. Okay, let's get those up into place. They're all set there. We'll get them screwed on, and then we can put the stone in. Now, the last couple of times there, I lit at the top of the flare. Was only, I'm guessing that flame was only maybe 6 inches tall, which is pretty small for that. Usually I'm running about 30 inches of flame out of that thing there. So that's what it's been doing. It's been wobbling up at the bottom, getting ice in the bottom of the cans there for the PeaStone. So we're going to have some cold weather procedures here. I think before we start up, we're going to take the little propane torch there and warm the bottoms of the filters, and with the petcocks open, drain out any water that might have got into the bottom. It's all steel on the bottom, so we don't have a problem with melting anything. But I think warm them up, drain the water out, and that'll give a little head start and get something warm in there before it starts pulling the smoke through and then binds up. So one more thing to worry about in the winter. Well, it is going. I'm not impressed. I'm going to give it a few minutes there, and I know it's got to get kind of the system cleared out there a little bit, so I'm not going to get too disappointed right off. We'll give that a couple minutes. I can see already the color starting to come into it a little better. It's blue with a little tinge of purple to it. I'm going to go check the hopper there. I didn't do anything to that. It's left over from yesterday. So everything's got to get warmed up. Okay guys, we made a couple of corrections. I rearranged a couple things there. I found one little leak, and I think I got that sealed up for the time being. And now it's looking pretty good. Now it's starting to come into it. Okay, now don't forget, this is the primary. How's that looking? Pretty good. So I'm getting ready to touch her off onto the second one here. And then I might as well fire up the left for dead while we're at it.